Heat in the kitchen. Oh, actually, I don't know if it's live. It should be live. It's very, very small right there in the window. I hope the Wi-Fi is strong enough today. Oh, yeah, we're live. Look at that. We'll even make this a little bigger. That way we can see. So,
there you go.
What's up, Avi?
What's up, man?
Heat in the kitchen.
Yeah, what's up, Corey?
You know what? You do always say, you got to introduce yourself because everybody knows you from your Facebook page, but how the fuck do they know who I am?
Right, especially, but also I think you always forget that this is actually like on our podcast page, which we're finally getting like some traction on. So I think like we should probably actually do an intro like as if we're on the podcast. So welcome to Heat in the Kitchen podcast. I'm Chef Avi Shemtov here alongside
Intro's
me.
Overrated.
Here alongside me is Corey O'Leary.
First ever Patriots pregame show.
This is our first ever Patriots pregame show. I guess we probably never were on on a Monday last year, right? We didn't do our thing.
No, we started this year.
No,
we started right after they got smoked by the Titans.
Is that right?
Yeah, because we thought it would be like look ahead to the AFC Championship or some shit.
Yeah.
And instead, it was a sad.
I don't know. Is this a Patriots pregame show or is this a Tampa Bay postgame show?
Oh, I think it's more a Tampa Bay. Listen,
dude, I gotta say, for folks that I thought about this morning. I'm like, this week was a bad week for folks that are still heavily in Brady's camp and love your man Trump. So the only thing is I'll say this, Brady doesn't turtle. When it's over, Brady doesn't turtle. Can you imagine if Brady came out and was just I don't accept the results of that game last night?
No, what if
I'm not that game is still still
actually
still out.
What if there were pictures of him playing golf all day today? You think it would be
oh, that would be such a bad look.
That's a bad look, you think?
What if there were pictures of him playing golf all day, night last night instead?
Yeah.
Because that's
they would have scored more points.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't have scored less points, really. By the way,
I love how they kicked the field goal.
Yeah, I know.
That's hilarious.
I thought of it. Well, dude, what about the 4th and 1? I mean, they dude, what the hell? But anyway, yeah. So I guess we're just diving right into the Brady stuff. Should we go to the election first, or should we go right into the Brady stuff?
We get to start with Brady. I mean, let's be honest. There ain't shit to talk about with the Patriots. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, we'll cover some Patriots.
I mean,
what did you think of? So first of all, you saw Flacco starting tonight.
Yeah, which is much worse for the Patriots.
It is much worse for the Patriots.
It's
I thought of that
too.
Take
the over. Take the over.
So I mean, the thing is, on the Brady thing, I think we're going to kind of go back and forth all season because he's going to have great games and he's going to have not great games. The thing is, I still stand by the fact that the Patriots are not, in my opinion, as crazy as this sounds, are not. And I think Brady probably saw this writing on the wall. I'm not saying they wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe they'd be 3-4 or whatever. But they're not really a worse team without Brady this year. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily. I'm not saying that Cam and Brady are equals. What I'm saying is this team is flawed on so many levels. They lost so many important players across the field. And Tampa Bay gives Brady a better chance. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they're still 6-2? No, 6-3.
6-3, but now they're 2 back in the division.
I know,
basically.
but they're 6-3. But the thing is that even at 6-3, that, you're seeing Brady's age. Brady isn't falling off a cliff the way that Peyton did, but Peyton got an injury. What you are seeing is that it's not easy to think about this. Every wide receiver that ever came in here, the Ocho Cincos of the world, the Galloway, who was another one, another late in their career successful wide receiver that came in here.
Reggie Wayne.
Didn't
make the roster.
All these guys that came in and quickly just didn't work out.
Right.
They were learning the offense that Brady already knows. They're just a number in Brady's playbook. Because they're Shea Caldwell for all intents and purposes.
Right.
This year's different because Brady's learning it too. So was it AB's misread last night or was it Brady's misread? I don't know. Was it when Mike Evans can't connect with Brady on a play? Is it Mike Evans that didn't understand where he was supposed to go or how he was supposed to read it? Or was it Brady? We really don't know. And last night was funny because you look at all the weapons they've surrounded Brady with, and it just wasn't making a difference. And the reality is they're at their best when they're dinking and dunking to what's his name there, Rojo or whatever they call him, coming out of the backfield, or when they were handing the ball off. But they really kind of can't do that because they've invested so much energy and money and time into this supposed high-powered offense. So,
well, that's the thing, though. But we've always seen Brady at his best, right? We've always seen him like Drew Brees, spraying the ball around to everybody, right? Now he's dropping back and sitting there,
See it, Chuck.
and he's getting pressure,
Yep.
right? And he's trying to push it down the field, which his arm is fine, but
Yeah, his arm's fine.
But Dinkin and Duncan, that's his bread and butter. Move the chains, move the chains, move the chains, move the chains, and that's what Drew Brees did last night.
Right.
But I think that game is much more about the Brady Belichick. It's about the Belichick side, right? Because every time we've ever seen them get absolutely lit up to start a game like that, they've always made some sort of comeback, right? They said on the thing last time it was 24-0 Tom Brady. They came back and won against Denver.
Right.
Remember the San Francisco game, that Sunday night game? I think they were down at least 21-0, but I think they were down like 31-3.
You're talking about the one against Kaepernick?
Against Kaepernick,
I was at that
yeah.
game. I was at that game.
It was,
and
they
came rolling way back, and then Cap went right down the field and scored to win the game. But
they were down,
they
were down 4 scores in the
came,
third quarter, and by the end of the third quarter they had tied.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? They always showed the fight, right?
Different.
They always showed the fight, and you might get out. Even the Super Bowls and playoff games, they always come back.
We've talked about it before here. Arians is there. Okay.
He had no answers.
As frustrated as you are, and anybody that's played sports on any level knows this, right? Like even anybody that was just like in your professional environment when you working, hard asses are hard to play for. They're hard to work for, but they're holding all the people around you accountable. Right. So when you're a self-driven person and you're an ambitious person, the way that say a Tom Brady is, like Tom Brady's working hard this morning. Tom Brady woke up, he worked hard, and maybe and by the way, as crazy as that dude is. AB.
Well, he's sleeping over. They probably woke up together.
Right, exactly. Next to each other, cuddling. But AB probably came in and.
Why, you think he's crazy?
Yeah, he's crazy. So, by the way, wouldn't you be real bothered during a global pandemic, during COVID, they brought a stranger into their home? Like, I don't understand it. That's why I'm just like, Giselle probably moved out. Tom's sharing a bunk bed with AB. Mike Evans pissed he wasn't invited over. That's the thing is.
They had the weapons.
What I'm saying is they're about to go through such crazy dysfunction because a bunch of these people on the team, it's like, we're all fans. We're all like, oh, my God, like you just added AB.
Oh, yeah.
You just added Gronk. You just added all these pieces. You added Leonard
Fournette.
Fournette. You just added. But the reality is that these are all grown adult men individually who are after their next career move. So I've brought this up many, many times here and in other conversations. Mike Evans is tied for the most number of seasons to begin a career with 1,000 yards. This year, he was set to break that. These are the things guys like him care about that are going to take them where they want to go individually. Yeah, and he's not going to get that.
No.
And he's going to look around and go, why did we bring AB in? I need more ball. Like, I thought I was sacrificing for Gronk.
Maybe.
No, trust me, there's not enough. Listen, what makes
the ball's there's not enough.
What
to go
makes
around,
these
sure.
guys great
of course.
is the same thing that will tear a team like that apart. It is.
Yeah, no, absolutely could happen. But I think it's more, they're having a little bit of come to Jesus today for sure, right? Because they're like, fuck, we're fucked with the division now.
Sure.
Let's get our shit together. But more so, I mean, they're not going to beat anybody if they. It looked like the Patriots all those years where they had no defense, and we were like, what the fuck? We can't just rely on Tom. Right. And usually Tom fucking bailed them out.
But I would almost argue that the offense was the worst part last night.
Well, yeah.
The defense was
4
just
straight 3
terrible.
You can't.
And
they
the
were
defense
both
was just in terrible spots.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, yeah, that was a tough game.
All
right, let's get to your boy Donald. You were right. I was wrong. I said he was going to win. You said he wouldn't.
Hold on, the election's over. I didn't think it was over yet. I thought we were still going.
So let's actually talk about that. Do you actually? Because there are people that really believe that. One of them is the leader of the free world right now. Actually,
no. He doesn't actually believe it.
So then
you guys spent years telling me he's a liar, right? He doesn't actually believe it. He knows it's over, right? It's better.
You're not wrong, Steve.
It's better for him to have an enemy. As he moves on in his if he wants to start a TV network, which is the rumor now,
right?
It's better for him to keep this fight going and say he got screwed.
Okay, so can we try our best?
Yes, go ahead.
To have a serious conversation about a serious subject matter then?
Yeah.
Okay. Ruling.
He lost.
No. Okay. Let me get to what I want to get to. Ruling the free world. Okay. Yeah. Being the president of the greatest country in the world is a super important job. It's not something to be used as a marketing platform. It's not something to be toyed with.
No,
hear me out. I hear a lot of people that support Donald Trump, and I think that this is sort of like part of the crux of even when he does something or has a policy that's a good policy, it's hard for anybody to digest that unless you're an avid supporter of his, is because people who support him a lot of times say things like, oh, I just love how he riles you all up. Oh, I just love that office is not it's too high an office. It's too important to do that. I like having my balls busted by some of my friends. I don't like my doctor worrying me. You know, that's a different job, right?
Right.
So to me, there are people who are enjoying what he's doing right now.
Oh, of course.
Because they're like, oh, you know, he's not going to give in. He's sticking it to them. This is democracy we're playing with.
Yeah, listen.
This is everything. That's what we're playing with. Everything.
Okay,
he lost an election, my friend.
Okay, but listen. The same
did
people
you like
say
people,
that, though.
Did you like people protesting in the streets when Hillary lost?
What do you mean protesting?
So there were some Hillary supporters that took to the streets the day after the last election. They were protesting.
Avi, they protested for 3 years. So
4 years, but yeah.
But like, this is why people.
You know what annoys me about you? Can I be honest with you?
Go ahead.
You don't answer questions. You just like I asked you a question and you just go.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Yeah, they protested for 2 years.
Nobody cares about.
I'm saying the day after the election, the last time, did you think it was right to protest?
I mean, no. What does it matter? Yes, it doesn't matter.
So I think it matters personally, and I said,
why though?
I'll tell you why. So.
But those people protested. Why did they protest?
So
just because she lost, or because it got hacked by the Russians? Right?
No, they
thought Donald Trump stole the election 4 years ago.
No, they protested. So listen, nobody, to the best of my knowledge, nobody thinks that they think that the Russians influenced people, which is a problem, and it's a problem if the guy running was encouraging that. But nobody thinks that they changed votes. That nobody thinks that happened. Listen, it's hard to have a conversation.
Are you sure about that, though?
Yeah, listen, it's hard to listen to someone who I try to make a point and you just it's like.
But I don't agree with your point, though.
So then disagree with the point.
Okay.
But you're going like a million other places with it.
No, I'm not. You say they protested the election of Donald Trump, right?
That's what they protested.
Right. And then.
And I asked if you thought that was right. And then so far, multiple times you've told me you've derailed us.
They can protest all they want. Anybody can protest at any time. Okay. I have no problem with anybody protesting.
Okay, so all right.
In the streets.
Okay,
the streets.
So here's where I'm at with that. Everyone can do whatever they want within the bounds of the law.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you should have no problem with it. So, for example, you can wear whatever you want. If you wore a T-shirt that said Avi Shemtov sucks, you have the right to wear it. I can't do anything about it, but it doesn't mean it wouldn't bother me. After the last election, I saw people that supported Hillary Clinton all over this country protest in the streets. And I said on any social media platform I had or whatever, I said it's unbecoming of a democracy to be in the streets protesting the results of a democratic election.
Right.
I believe that. So all your go over here, go over there with this, that doesn't matter to me.
But those people don't believe it was a fair election.
So it doesn't. No. Okay. Again, this is where the single greatest thing about not electing Donald Trump is that a year from now, folks like you are going to go back to having normal conversations. Everybody believed that Donald Trump won the Electoral College last time. There's not a soul in this country that believes Donald Trump didn't win the Electoral College last time.
That's not true.
By the way, there's not a rational person that thinks that Biden didn't win both the Electoral College and the popular vote. The issue I'm saying is we need to get back to a place in this country where we accept democracy.
Of course.
You lost the election in 2016. If you're a Hillary supporter and you go out into the streets and you protest the guy that just won, you are cutting down at what a democracy is. We all threw in a vote. Whatever it is, we're supposed to back.
Okay.
And to your point, we spent 4 years combating the leader of our country to our own detriment instead of trying to sway him. And when I say we, I mean it doesn't matter what the common people did in this case. I don't think that influences him. Democrats spent 4 years fighting him at every turn. I joke sometimes that if Donald Trump woke up one morning and cured cancer, Democrats would say that it hurt the economy.
What about AIDS?
Right, or that it hurt the economy. That, well, by curing cancer, you're hurting the economy.
Right.
And now Republicans do the same thing back to Democrats. And so the issue that I have is what he's doing right now, I find, Rich says he's going to make a fucking Avi Shemtov sucks t-shirt tomorrow. I believe that. You, yeah, I believe you will. Anyway, the point is,
that's a rational thought, right? But
no, but I'm saying and that's what we're doing now is I'm sorry, but
But
the guy that just lost the election needs to come out and say, hey, I lost that election, and then we need to move past it. At the very least, like Hillary supporters, I didn't like them being in the streets protesting his election. But I also don't like that. I also, at least she accepted the results. So
but
it is
she
so
didn't
dangerous.
accept the results. That's the whole
she
thing,
did,
though.
She did.
She accepted it, and then. Do you agree that the Mueller investigation was based off the Steele dossier? Or do you even know the words I'm saying?
I do, but
listen, it's so you say she accepted the election, but her entire party, all they did was try to undermine him and start an investigation that, for the record, it cost $30 million. And at the end of the day, it didn't show that Trump was talking to Putin, hey, let's hack the election for me. The phrase was, Russia hacked the election. That was the phrase. So you can't say, yeah, she accepted it. Yeah, she said she lost.
Yeah.
But then they spent 3 years doing it, and now those same people are saying, oh, Trump lost, accept the result. There's crazy people. They're not going to just say, okay, accept it.
All right. Yeah,
protesting the street.
I'll be honest with you. Like, this is you and I. We represent where America is right now. In that, I don't want to have this conversation. Like, I'm bored by it. Like, because you know what you lack. You know what you lack the ability to understand? Do you know what the word nuance means?
Understand.
Do you know what nuance means?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Because you don't seem to understand nuance. Nuance escapes you.
How does it? No, it escapes you. You're like, oh, for
example,
let it go. She let it go. They didn't let it go.
They accepted the results of the election, and then also wanted it proven, which, by the way, it was proven, that the guy that won the election had been actively involved with talking to foreign governments in the pursuit of information against American political candidates, which is bonkers. That is a wrong thing to do. And I'll be honest with you, your voice is gone in a conversation like this with me, and that's where I'm glad Trump's gone, because we can start to move past this as friends, not just me and you, but me and any friend I have. Because the reality is, I just saw you stand for 4 years next to somebody who I wouldn't even give the time of day to.
Right.
And it's hard. It became hard to differentiate, between people of character and people of no character, because I know people like yourself who I believe to be people of character that sided and stood with someone who is a child molester, is a serial philanderer, steals from children's cancer charities. I mean, by all means, is a horrific human being in every way. And I'll be honest with you, I could never come to terms with that. Like, I don't know how I could come to terms with that. Do you have a problem with the fact that Donald Trump molests children?
I mean, not a fact.
Do you believe that Donald Trump had sex with minors when he was hanging around Epstein?
No.
I'm asking if you believe that. You don't believe that he did?
He kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. Why would he do that? If he was,
after 10 years of hanging out with him.
I mean, listen. Are you serious? The Trump and Epstein connection is so minimal. It's not even funny.
Do you think Donald Trump wants to sleep with his daughter?
I don't even know what that's called. So no.
Do you think he wants to? Did you listen to the Howard Stern? Why would you talk about your daughter like that?
Dude,
all of this matters. All of this matters.
All of this matters.
How does that not matter? To you, it doesn't matter that a human being went on a TV show and then talked sexually about his own daughter?
I mean,
that doesn't bother you?
Creep. I don't know what,
Yeah, and yet you at some point were willing to support him.
Yes, at some point I was willing to support him, yes.
I don't know how somebody does that.
Okay, but listen, if you want to go through the list of politicians and
where
they stand morally.
Find me one I support.
Okay, so you hate all politicians then, right? What about Tara Reid? Who's Tara Reid? No, exactly. Who's Tara Reid?
Like the actress?
Yes. No. See, don't even know.
Who's Tara Reid?
The one who credibly accused Joe Biden of sexual assault.
Okay. So
okay,
I'm just saying. But have you heard me defend Joe Biden? That's the difference between
you said you wouldn't. You had a choice. You could vote for one or two people, right?
And what did I say? I said it here a week ago. I said I'm voting, and I have issues voting for honestly anybody the Democrats pick right now in some ways, because I think that that party has corrupted democracy with superdelegates, and I find it atrocious having to vote for somebody that further empowers them to believe they can continue to pick their candidates against the will of the people. But
which they'll keep doing. They do not care about.
But for me, it came down to a vote for bureaucracy. Like we need people in office who do day-to-day people in office things, and not people that go on these crazy tangents. And I mean, the last 4 years have been so unstable And I'm not talking about like, oh, Americans can't get along, unstable. I mean like people in our own government don't know what to expect day to day. That was too broken for me. And so I was willing to accept certain things. But I'm not sitting here and saying that I think Joe Biden's a great human being. I don't know Joe Biden. I don't know enough about some of those things. Do I believe that Joe Biden? I mean, look, Bill Clinton was by a lot of accounts a great president and was a really atrocious human being in a lot of ways. You won't hear me defend Bill Clinton. I don't know anything personally morally wrong with Obama. I've actually never heard anybody accuse Obama of anything morally wrong. I mean, I don't know if you know something. Go ahead and throw it out.
I mean, you act like I'm something like I've never been on Breitbart's website. Okay, like,
I would hope not.
Like I'm just saying. Like
I would hope not.
But here's the thing, right? So you're just glossing over the fact though that they literally like tried to impeach him over stuff that was not impeachable.
They didn't try to impeach him. They impeached him.
Yeah, they impeached him over a call that they put out the transcript right away, and it's like, no, you can't impeach somebody for this. This is not. This
they did.
The law. Yeah, throwing him out of office, right? If it was actually something, it's not a party line thing, right? Because somebody will get thrown out of office across party lines, like Richard Nixon. Okay, so it's not like
yeah, Richard Nixon.
No, but that's the point
hear
though.
you.
If Watergate happened now,
Yep.
we wouldn't even think about it. It would just be another fucking scandal, right? It would not even be a thing.
If Watergate happened under Trump, it wouldn't have made the top 10. It wouldn't have made the top 10 terrible things that guy does.
Right, exactly. So
he calls for violence against journalists.
Avi.
He has. You can laugh if you want, man, but he has. I've heard it. I've heard it. We can play it.
Oh my God. I've also heard journalists cry.
Yeah, I've heard journalists cry.
This whole week.
Yeah. But in fairness, this is what you do. This is where you further devalue your own ability to make an argument.
No, you can't.
So I just said that he calls for violence against journalists, and you said I've heard journalists cry.
I mean,
okay.
There's been a lot. Listen, Trump has changed his mind.
Let's have a conversation about debate. Did you think when you said I've also heard journalists cry? Did you think that was a response to what I said about Trump? Did you think that in any way mitigated what I said about Trump?
Hold on. What did he say? Like he called to kill journalists or what?
No, he called for violence against journalists. In fact, at one point he said, and I'm going to paraphrase here because I don't have it in front of me. He said something to the effect of, I would like to punch him in the face about a journalist. He said multiple things many times. I mean, these are things I've seen him say. They're not like me reading an article going, oh my God, I think Trump has said bad things or called for violence against journalists. I've heard him call for violence against journalists.
Right.
I've heard him.
So here's the thing, though. I don't want to make it seem like it's like half the country's one way, half the country's the other way, right? Like, so you for sure think Donald Trump's a racist, right? Very well could be a racist.
I think Donald Trump's a narcissist.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
I think he does things that are very detrimental to people of other races than him and doesn't care. But I don't know that Donald Trump, let's put it this way. I don't think Donald Trump hates black Americans any more than he hates me. I think Donald Trump is a narcissist.
You don't think? I mean, he's a narcissist.
I mean,
but yeah. So, I mean,
do you see how you asked a question, made a point, and I responded to it?
Yes.
I didn't just say, well, I've actually heard people cry. I've actually heard racists cry.
But, I mean, this guy gets the second most votes in history, okay?
Yep.
So, you're telling those people...
Yeah, like almost within 4 million of the other guy.
Yeah, exactly. They both... I mean... should he get credit for bringing democracy back?
I'm being sarcastic. Losing by like 4 million votes is a lot of votes to lose by.
Well, not if you go by the Electoral College. It's only a couple 100,000. You know, that's if you look at the map, right? It's all about the certain states, right? So hold on. Do you think the popular vote should be the be all end all?
No.
Okay. So you like the Electoral College?
I would like a compromise, honestly. What I was thinking is, I think every state should work the way that Maine and Nebraska work. I think that there should be a way to divide up along congressional districts or whatever. Because I do think it's a little goofy that, like, in theory, you could win almost half the states, lose all the rest of the states by one vote, and lose the election. Like, I do think that's a little goofy.
Yeah, right.
I also think that like in Massachusetts or in D.C., all the votes are going to go for the Democratic candidate anyway. So if you did it more like Nebraska and Maine and split it up, they'd still get all those votes.
Yeah, right.
Whereas, like, when places start to change, like Texas Or Arizona has changed quite a bit, but it's not overwhelmingly Democrat. So like,
Yeah, but the more people move from California, it will be.
no, agreed. But my point is, but like, so to think that like
One vote in every state
Trump
switch
could
it.
lose by like 1,000 votes somewhere and not get anything, or Biden could lose by like a really like, I think it disenfranchises. I think, and by the way, I think that it really it disenfranchises, and it also disincentivizes enfranchisement, because a lot of people, whether you're a Republican in Massachusetts or you're a Democrat in Alabama, you don't even think your vote counts. And so to me, a better way would be to be like, all right, well, if they hit a certain point, then, it should be. So like maybe a state that has 20 delegates does,
15-5.
guy, or like even 12-8.
Yeah.
Like the truth is, if it's 50.1 to 49.9, 12-8 is very fair.
Right.
I mean, like almost, listen, the Democrats do it called super delegates. Like just have like some bonus number. It's, I don't know. I do think there's an argument that if you take away the Electoral College,
No,
you will
worry about the cities only, and that's it. Well, I mean, you just campaign in every city.
right. And that is what would happen. But at the same time, it also is goofy that the converse is what's happening. So if you live in like a really rural area, your vote sort of counts more than if you live in a city.
No, it doesn't though, because you don't have as many electoral college votes.
Right, but you have less people to vie for, and more importantly, you have a lot of people that look, act, work, have money like you. Like everyone's kind of the same in certain areas. So to me, by the way, that's even more reason to do a split up, is that like in cities, not everybody's the same. And so to like have it be that like, okay, if 51% of the people go one way, then it's going to go like that's, I don't know. Listen, it's going to lead, it leads to the kind of divide that we have now, where nobody is incentivized to compromise. You're just incentivized to bulldoze anybody that you can. Because as long as I can get 1-2 more people to agree with me than the other guy or the other woman, then I get it that way. And I don't, I don't like that.
But listen, I think it's just missing the point to be like, oh, Trump should just pack it in and whatever. Because A, it's not what he's gonna do, so it's not even worth talking about it. But B, it's like, so you say,
I'm trying to scroll down.
you see, pack it in, but it's like, all right, every vote counts, right? So as soon as Biden takes the lead in Georgia, it's all right. Let's call this thing. Well, what about all those military votes that haven't been counted, right? And just things for optics, right? Why would the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, 3 days before the election, say, if every vote is counted in Pennsylvania, Trump will lose Pennsylvania? All right? Like, so then when you're running the election, right, and I go to bed and Pennsylvania's up by, Trump is winning Pennsylvania by 700,000 when I go to bed, and then I wake up in the morning and he's losing, right? For all the crazy people in the world.
Yeah, but anybody that could do math knew that. So, like, when he was up 800,000, I did the math, right?
It's at 1 in the morning.
So he was up 800,000 votes with 1.8 million mail-in votes outstanding.
Right.
He was winning mail-in.
Well, by the way, hold on. I thought the post office was not doing mail-in ballots. I thought they were burning them all or taking mailboxes away. I mean, they delivered. That was another scandal that Trump ran.
So again, I don't want to do this. It's not fun for me.
But
it's not fun.
But it's just
this isn't fun for me, Corey.
It's the classic
Corey, I'm
thing,
just
though.
so glad that the election went this way, because you guys have lost your damn minds. Like,
no, you lost.
So can we speak calmly and normally?
I'm
the
speaking
post
calmly
office. The accusations.
Was it a fake scandal?
No, it was incredibly accurate. So, and the best part about it is, then when Poopy Pants there lost his election, he cried about the very thing that he created. You know why these votes are coming in so damn late?
No,
because he fucked the USPS.
Wrong.
No, 100%.
Wrong.
100%.
No, that's wrong.
No, it's not.
They delivered every mail. No, some of those states you can't even open them till 8 o'clock at night.
Correct, but like Nevada, they still have ballots coming in that were postmarked before the election.
Yes, dude, and they can also deliver them after the fact.
Correct,
even if they were postmarked by the election.
But my point is the crying about why did this take so like the argument. So okay, look, can we just let's take you through some logic here. What does the time that you went to bed and how many votes he was up matter? Why was he up so many votes?
Because they said, all right, we're going to stop counting tonight.
Right? No, but my point is.
So they said we're going to stop counting.
So the only argument by Donald Trump or anybody who supports him has been
No, no, I think
that he
he's
was
lost.
up. No, I understand. You know that in the end he lost. But my point is, even in here in this conversation, you made the same argument he's making, which is that he was up a lot, and then it came, and then why was he not up in the end? Because he stacked it such that all the votes he was going to get came in right away, and then he had to sit there and watch his lead get eviscerated by mail-in votes, which he was losing. He was winning 11% of mail-in votes, Corey.
Yeah, no.
By design, because he asked all his supporters to go to the polls.
Okay, so tell me, does this question need answered before you decide an election, right? So in Michigan, now this is from Michigan County itself, has nothing to do with Trump. The software glitch that gave 6,000 votes for Biden in one county instead of Trump, right? That same system is used in 47 different counties. Okay. Should that be looked into? Oh, did the same thing happen in every single county, or did that software get updated properly in all these counties? Okay, should that be investigated? That's literally votes changing.
I don't necessarily. So I know nothing about what you're talking about, and I don't necessarily believe that's accurate. And the person
it's from the Board of Elections in Michigan. It has nothing to do with politics.
And so the problem is that the person that just said that to me told me that guy lost, but. If I thought 600,000 votes got stolen.
No. 6,000.
Oh, 6,000 votes?
6,000. In one, but that's only one place, though.
Yeah, I understand.
The same system is used in 47 other places.
Right. Well, so I think that I guess I would go down this road. Because it seems like there's a lot of issues with the way our elections are done.
Yeah.
But at the same time.
But these people should run healthcare.
But at the same time, it's a question of well, there was probably the same problems in the last one, probably the same problems in the last one. Probably the same problems in the last one.
We'll just let it go then.
No, we should try to fix it, but we shouldn't make it. We should try to fix it in between elections, not make it about So the problem is the reason we don't fix it is.
Yeah, but shouldn't we look at it now for the election that happened last week? How many votes got changed? That's a valid question that needs to be answered.
So I think that Trump should come out this afternoon or this evening. He should concede, and then he should be like, "But hey, with this all done, and me, no matter what, not becoming the president, I do think let's go count those just to see if we can fix this for the next one." I'll support him on that one.
Yeah, sure. Guess what? He's not conceding. He just.
Are you embarrassed by that? Are you embarrassed that he won't concede?
No, I don't care. He lost the election. It's over.
But are you embarrassed that he? So, do you know how Adolf Hitler's life ended?
He died.
How?
Did he hang himself?
No, he shot himself.
Yeah.
In a bunker, like a pussy, like a soft little bitch, right? It feels like it just. Listen. It's not the same, and I'm not. By the way, to anybody that's going to go nutty, I'm not comparing Trump's run to Hitler's run. It just feels like this is your leader, like this is your king. It's like when he lost, this is how this guy's going to go out. It makes me look at all these Trump supporters so much softer. Like really, like that's your guy. Like that's who you back. That's who you took to the streets. Do you know how embarrassed I would be as a grown adult man?
That would be conceding.
As a grown adult. No, conceding would be the grown adult brave move.
That wouldn't be the pussy move?
No, the pussy move is not conceding. It's because you know he lost. I know he lost. We all know he lost. Sitting there and like pouting and no, it's childish. It's sad. It's pussy. It's really it's embarrassing. I'd be embarrassed to be siding with this guy.
But we already said he's a narcissist, right? So
right,
he's just trying to set himself up for 74 days from now. That's all, you know what I mean?
To do what?
To start a network to go against Fox News.
If you watch that network, you are softer than he is. Like, this dude should be dead to everybody. This dude won't accept the election.
I thought we were trying to work with unity, though. 70 million people voted for him, right? I thought we were trying to bring unity.
So I'm down to work with them. I'm just saying, if you continue, like, those 70 million people should be embarrassed by his behavior now. If they weren't embarrassed by his behavior for 4 years, they should at least be embarrassed that now he's turned coat and been soft. Like, he could have come out there and he could have said, listen, I got 70 million votes. This is how democracy works. It sucks, but hey, we're going to keep fighting. We're not going to let you just because you won the election make all these changes. We're, blah, 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 blah. Instead, he's like saying that he won. I think he tweeted yesterday or 2 days ago still, I won this election. Big.
Yeah, once he got off the golf course. Listen, he knows
so
it's
embarrassing.
Over. He knows it's over. Okay?
So embarrassing.
Listen, his campaign booked the press conference at the Four Seasons. You heard this?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
This is amazing.
It's a clown show. It's over. It's fine. It's over, right? The fight is all for show. It's all for 74 days from now. It has nothing to do with him winning the election, nothing like that. Although those other questions do need to be answered, because we can't just have these elections where it's like not transparent. Right? You gotta have everything. Got to be buttoned up. I think we need full-on federal rules for every state, so these little fucking fish can't do whatever they want in these little states and try to decide elections themselves, because it seems like it's pretty ripe for fraud just in general, because every state has different rules. Every county is all fucked up. You don't know who's running what, right? So federal rules, every election. You gotta, if you want to mail in your ballot, do it by October 15th. The post office will deliver it.
I don't know. You want people making their decisions 3 weeks before?
I don't think you can send in your ballot on election day and then expect the rest of the country to wait 4 days.
You know, it's tough because it's like, right? Like we don't want to sit here and wait, but at the same time, like if you're running in an election, you want to be able to impact who's going to vote for you right up until the last moment.
Of course. But then you can go to the polls then.
So like imagine, so like if somebody,
go to the polls.
Yeah, but like if
this
somebody
year was different.
So can you imagine somebody casts a vote on October 15, right? And then it comes out
the Trump pussy video. Grab a woman by the pussy.
Sure, or something more impactful even. Something like, so for example.
That wasn't impactful?
For example, I mean, no, but my point is like, so that's the thing about, like, this is where, like, I'd be so much more proud to be me than you in this sense, because, like, you sit on the side and, like, you kind of play this role, like, you really come across like a lot of Trump supporters. Me, like, I'm in the middle. Like, I'm not liberal. Like, I'm not, no, that video, when I said not impactful,
hit by both sides.
That video didn't, sure, and I'll take that heat, but, like, when I say more impactful, like, that video didn't,
make him lose the election.
And it was who he was. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things where, like, if you already hated the dude, you were like, oh, my God, look at this. Ha ha, you're going to support that clown. But no one was like, oh, my God, I did not know that this man, as opposed to, so, for example, and now there are legitimate ways to defend Donald Trump. I don't do it. I don't believe in it. But there are legitimate ways that an intelligent person can try to defend Donald Trump. For example, did you see what came out today?
The vaccine?
Yeah. And I was like, I saw that and I was like,
why should he get credit for that?
I'm not saying he should get credit for it. I'm saying people like me I'm willing to admit, absolutely held against him that this talk of a vaccine coming soon was ludicrous. And I was like, this is clown material. And now we see less than a week after the election, that now they release that they're 90% of the way there. And I'm like, that's dirty. Like, I'll call it dirty both ways. That's dirty because you knew that a week ago. You knew that a week ago, and you didn't put it out because if you did, it would have helped this dude. Like, at the end of the day, it absolutely would have helped this dude. Yeah. And it wouldn't have changed my vote, and I didn't see it and go, oh, damn it, I wish I'd voted for Trump. But I did see it and go, I don't like dirty politics. That's dirty. Because you knew that a week ago. Dirty. Like, you knew a week ago and Fauci called it unbelievable and incredible. And I'm like, that's dirty politics. And the problem is, if you'll do dirty shit that way, then I can't trust you almost on anything. So it's like, wait, time out. Because there's no way Fauci didn't know a week ago that they were there on it, right? So you're looking at it and you're like, so a week ago you played like, this guy's crazy. We're a year away. People were saying until the end of 2021. And then it turns out that, like, listen, you knew that there was one coming right down the pike. Like,
don't even bother getting into the big pharma world, because guess what? The faucet's been open, right? And I actually I almost want to blame Trump for that.
You lose me with these phrases. The faucet's been open. Listen, has the swamp been drained?
How much
has the swamp been drained?
How much money has gone to big pharma this year?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You don't even want to know.
Was it $30, $40?
Exactly. So it's there was that drug remdesivir literally causes liver and kidney damage, right? Fauci called it a game changer, right? I think they actually even gave it to Trump, right? They had data that showed this wasn't safe. Mm-hmm. That company signed a $1.8 billion contract with the European Union, $1.8 billion. The next day they said, "Oh, sorry, here's our safety data." Like, it just, the money being thrown around to these pharma companies is stupid, right? And I think, let's not get into COVID, because the science, I have a feeling, is changing now, right? Is it changing now that Biden's in? vaccines here and everybody's good.
You're annoying
and by the
me.
way, no.
You're annoying me.
No,
Let's talk
'cause I
about
said,
Cam.
No,
Let's talk about
I
Cam.
got to fact check you because you said
Let's
nobody
talk
gets the
about
flu.
Cam.
Nobody gets the flu in July. You said that's wrong, and we have a vaccine. I got to fact check that.
Okay, let's talk about Cam. Let's talk about
Wow,
Derrick Rose.
Look how many people are watching.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Derrick Rose. Let's talk about
Derrick Rose.
Yeah, I saw a cool thing about Derrick Rose today. He like penned this like letter about like love and respect, like to the city of Chicago, and like talked about like growing up in the hood in Chicago, and it was kind of cool. It was dope. And then I saw his career stats, and I was like, huh, I didn't realize. You know that he averaged 18-1 this past year.
Yeah, for Minnesota.
And like almost 6. No, he's with Detroit, and he's with them one more year too. And that's still his career numbers, bro. He's still averaging 18-1.
Well, he
like,
was on
career.
track literally to be the greatest point guard ever. Like there was a time where he was literally unstoppable. Like,
We're gonna bore
the
people.
most
We're
athletic.
gonna bore people.
Yeah,
with
we don't want to
basketball
talk about Derrick Rose.
But I do want to
Sounds
say
much more
no.
interesting.
But you said something that was
Holy shit, that
fascinating,
come out of
right?
that can?
But you said something that was no. Yeah, you said something that was fascinating, which is on track to be the best point guard ever. That's interesting, right? Because point guard out of all the positions, point guard and center are 2 positions, at least in basketball and maybe kind of in all sports, where like it's really hard to call the best because they're so you can have them be so different. So like the best point guard ever, as the position was drawn up to be, is probably John Stockton.
Yeah, well,
but Magic Johnson, you'd rather have on your team than
Yeah,
John
right,
Stockton.
right.
It's just that like
And then you'd rather have Steph Curry.
right, exactly, right,
Well, maybe
right.
not, but-
Well, no, it depends, right?
Close,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
you'd rather have Steph Curry
Yeah,
in
then-
today's NBA than Magic Johnson.
Derrick Rose became the best. Then it was Steph. Now, now it's friggin' I don't know.
It's just funny because that's a position where it's like no one ever goes, nah, like I don't want a 2 guard that slashes, scores, and can shoot. I want a 2 guard that defends and posts up. Like that never. But point guards and centers can be completely different. And so when you say like, oh, that's the best, he was on course to be the best point guard ever. He was on course to be.
I mean, he
like-
won MVP. Like what? It was like,
He was like 22, 23 years old.
I
But
mean,
I'm saying.
he was unstoppable.
I'm saying he was on pace to become a top 20 player in the NBA in NBA history as a point guard.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's an
No.
interesting position because like no one will ever, even if Steph Curry ended up somehow becoming the best player of all time, no one would call him the best point guard of all time because it's like you're either a flashy dish it and score point guard or like a dish first point guard and dish and defend. And like John Stockton, like for a long time was the career leader in steals and assists.
No, I know.
And so it was like John Stockton was that dude.
he was-
but can you imagine what John Stockton in today's NBA would be Kurt Heinrich. Like it'd be just
I
like
think Kirk Heinrich's still in the league.
no, he's not. I'm just saying but that's how
He
he'd
was
be
in the league
thought
for a
of.
long
Just
time.
saying that's how he'd be thought of. It's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, he can pass and he can steal. Like, all right.
Yeah,
like
he's very good at throwing in the post to Karl Malone.
Karl Malone was.
no,
There's another
but-
example. Like Karl Malone is the third all-time scorer probably at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if that's probably something like that.
He was 2.
Yeah.
And like Karl Malone would be okay in today's NBA. Like he'd be fine. He wouldn't be great. Like
I don't know.
no, he's fine. Like
Listen, the problem with that type of player, right? Like that player can shoot threes now. You know what I mean? So it's like
and dribble.
Yeah, I
like Karl Malone benefited from he was
Vieira.
right. He was sort of Shaq with like a 15-foot jumper, and so like everyone who he played against was not as strong as him, and he bullied them.
Yeah.
He wasn't Charles Barkley. Like he wasn't like Charles Barkley's way better than him.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
So, but anyway, enough NBA talk. That's gonna bore the shit out of people.
Yeah. Nobody cares about the NBA.
Are we gonna talk about Cam?
Well, I mean, what is there to talk about? He's playing the Jets tonight.
Yep.
And I already said, whatever, this week doesn't matter. It's all about next week. I didn't realize that they're playing the Ravens at home, too. So it's like, all right, well, you either have a season or you don't.
By the way, the Bills fucking put a spanking on Seattle. Jesus,
the
man.
Bills are
for real. Yeah, the Bills are for real. Like
and
they're not
Josh
gonna.
Allen's legit.
The
Josh
Bills are for
Allen's
real.
straight
They're not
legit.
going to win a championship, but they are
mean,
for real. And Josh Allen's good. Josh Allen is good.
Well, hold on. They only have 2 losses.
2 losses.
So I don't. Actually, they probably play Pittsburgh, though, don't they? They probably do.
I doubt it.
No, because Pittsburgh came in second, probably, and so did them. So did they last year. So they probably do play them.
If so, dude, that would be an incredible game.
But, it's so weird, though. See, it's hard to handicap this shit now because only the one team getting home field advantage, I think it's just so fucked up. Like, why can't they just go back to the 2 at home? I like it better with 6 playoff teams rather than 7. You know what I mean? Like, now it's only one team gets that advantage. It's just kind of fucked up, I think. You know what I mean? Especially when tiebreakers come into play. And a lot of times these teams don't play each other, so they don't have a true head-to-head. And now you're gonna break the home field advantage on a tiebreaker. Like, just make it two tie. I like two teams getting buys. You know what I mean? Just I don't want a cakewalk for.
They do play the Steelers. They play the Steelers on December 13th.
Ooh.
Dude, 8:20. That's a Sunday night game.
Sunday night, or maybe do they start the Saturday games at that time? But I mean, Pittsburgh still has to lose before that.
Do you want to go to that game, dude? Maybe we should go.
No.
It's a Sunday night game in Pittsburgh. Oh wait, is it in Pittsburgh or Buffalo?
Ooh.
It's in Buffalo, so there's no
no
can't
fans.
watch it.
No fans.
That's pissing Tony Mara
Hold on.
off. What?
Biden's in office now.
Yeah. So there's gonna be no fans anywhere.
No. Oh no, I thought COVID was gone. It's either it's gone or everything's locked down. Which one is it?
I mean, it's more the latter. Like at the end of the day, I haven't heard anyone argue. The crazies on the right have argued that it would be over as soon as the election was over. Dude, maybe that's why Trump is not conceding, is because he doesn't want to let them end COVID. He's like, no. He's like, you got 72 days more of COVID.
Dude, the funny thing is that I hear the crazies on the left saying, "Oh, we need to go back into lockdown."
Sure. Hey, have you done any outdoor dining since we last sat down?
Did I do any outdoor
or
dining?
Indoor dining?
Actually, I did do outdoor dining.
Where at?
I went down. It was nice this weekend. I went down to Rhode Island.
Okay.
Went down to Narragansett.
Isn't it funny? Rhode Island was on the list of places you can't go, and now you're the threat. Like now, when you went there, you got to be careful. Down in Narragansett, part of the beer.
Down by the water.
Okay, I've never been down in Narragansett. It's nice.
Galilee.
Where'd you go?
Jerusalem.
Where'd you go?
Champlain Seafood Fish Tacos.
You got fish taco. What kind of fish do they use?
You never been down to?
No, I've really never been to Narragansett. I've had Point Judith. I mean, we carry Point Judith calamari.
Comes from China.
So good. Yeah, I know you told me this. It doesn't come from China. It comes from Rhode Island. It goes to China.
That's right.
And then it comes back.
That's right.
Goofy.
No, I mean when it's nice like that, just anything by the water.
Yeah.
But that's the only place. Yeah. So I did.
Who'd you go with?
Wifey.
Nice. I assumed. I just didn't want to make an assumption. I don't know what you're doing with your life.
The side piece.
That's what I was like. I didn't know. I don't know if you found yourself on. You said I don't know. Breitbart, is that a dating site? No, you said something about being on that website.
Yes. It's swipe one way.
By the way, have you seen now a bunch of people are leaving certain social media platforms over this. I just saw Kurt Schilling posted on his Facebook that he's leaving.
Going to Parler?
Yeah, he's going to Parler, and I guess I don't even know what that is. Can you tell me?
It's right-wing Twitter. That literally nobody's going to go to.
So it's just an echo chamber.
Exactly. But the problem is Twitter is.
See, that's not going to be fun for Kurt Schilling because Kurt Schilling, sure, he enjoys people agreeing with him, but he really enjoys arguing with people. So how is that going to be fun? Because I'm not going to Parler. We're not going to argue.
Twitter's censoring a shitload of things now, though. With you can't even make jokes about I think fucking Callahan tweeted this. He made a joke about something with the election.
When's the last time somebody was on Twitter? When's the last time somebody was on Twitter? Is that a thing? If Trump wasn't on Twitter, are people on Twitter? Is that a thing?
That's where everybody is.
On Twitter? No, I think everyone's on Instagram.
Well, Instagram too.
Or Snapchat.
No.
All the young people are on Snapchat.
No. All the
I'm not on Snapchat.
All the political gurus, they're all on Twitter.
They're probably also on Snapchat. They're probably Snapchatting all their political guruness.
Yeah.
What about so you went down to Narragansett, outdoor dining or indoor dining?
Outdoor dining, yeah.
Have you been indoor? Have you indoor dined at all?
I have.
Where?
I can't really. Let me think about this. Not anywhere recently.
No, just in the heart of the.
No,
when were you indoor dining?
I have no problem indoor dining.
Okay. I'm just asking
where
I want to know about the
experience.
But
just because
I just want to know about the experience. I'm not saying you should have a problem with it.
Yeah.
By the way, I posted about this on Facebook.
If Simcoe was open, I would have no problem eating inside Simcoe.
I appreciate that.
I see you guys in mass and shit. What else?
Well, that's the thing is that, for me...
If COVID is everywhere, you can get it anywhere. That's
sure.
the way I think of it.
So I get that. For me, it's definitely... It's the size of the space that's a concern for me.
Yep.
Not just, by the way, so it does go both ways. For me, I have health concerns about it, but I also have operational concerns about it. I have concerns about the fact that, at a lower... So, pre-COVID, Simca would do 0 takeout orders on a Saturday night, and that was our best night of the week. Now, even if I were the most, risk-taking, I don't care at all, I'm going to open to whatever they'll let me, I can't do those numbers on a Saturday night, so I have to do takeout. And for me, operationally, with being so small, doing takeout and in-house dining and providing the quality of service that I want to would be really difficult. So, but I don't know. You're not on Facebook, so you don't see this
Well, I
stuff.
was going to say, well, yeah,
dude,
what
I
your
was just
restaurant
posting.
brethren say?
I was just posting. Well, I think even in the restaurant business, it's so divided. And I mean, I think most people probably are with me in the sense that, like, I don't think it's wrong, or like I'm not doing it, but I don't look at a place that does and think like, uh-oh. Like, no, I think there's a lot of places doing it right. I think there's a lot of places like really taking it serious, being safe. You know, listen, there's a lot of places where, let's put it this way: if you would eat raw beef or under burgers at a place pre-COVID, you should probably trust them. No. Well, you don't eat like a medium or like a medium rare burger ever.
Avi.
What?
The only reason I don't, literally the only
Is
reason
because of me.
is because of you.
So okay, so good. Like I'm with you there. Like
If I never knew you, I would have always ordered a burger medium. If it came medium rare, I wouldn't even care.
All right, cool. So then you're doing it right. But my point is, there's a lot of people that wouldn't, and I'll definitely eat I'll eat beef tartare or I'll eat like oysters at places all the time. And to me, different than ground beef. By the way, we don't need to bore people with food safety, but point is, if there's a place that you trust to eat an oyster, I would trust them now.
Right.
But there's lots of places doing it wrong too. I commented, I put this up on Facebook. I didn't mention the place or anything, but there's a place that this dude's been super aggressive, publicly about he's on that whole fuck Charlie Baker thing, and he's been posting or whatever, and he's just character. And he posted a video to talk about the safety of his restaurant, and he kept saying stuff about HACCP plans, but clearly doesn't know what a HACCP plan is, because I promise you his place doesn't have a HACCP plan. My place doesn't have a HACCP plan. You don't have to have HACCP. You have to have HACCP plans for items. So you probably don't know what a HACCP plan is. You don't need to know.
It sounds like when I asked you who Tara Reid was.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
so a HACCP plan is a very specific plan. And by the way, technically, I've had boards of health require them of me for very specific things I was doing, and they accepted them from me, even though I'm not HACCP certified. But technically, you have to go get HACCP certified to do it. Basically, it's a plan that identifies points in which a process and a food process that are super critical, and comes up with mitigation plans for that. Mm-hmm. So, for example, say you were curing meat or dry aging beef. You would want to take into account that the humidity matters, and then you'd be your mitigation would be we have a $100,000 piece of equipment here that sets off an alarm if the humidity is too high, whatever. Right. Point is this place that's it does not have a HACCP plan, and he's saying if you can trust that restaurants all have their HACCP plans. What? Yeah. You think the pizza shop down the street? Yeah, they probably got a HACCP plan for the frozen onion rings. And I don't mean down the street from my place. The pizza shop down the street from my place is dope. I love them. They're good guys. Definitely frozen onion rings, but they're good dudes.
Let's talk about bar pizza.
No, but my point is
that's not a hot topic.
Right. But the point is that this dude he has this has this platform, so he's talking and he's doing this goofy ass video where he's talking about food. He's talking about safety and how he's all we do is make food and clean all day. And he's he points. He's we have gloves, we have wipes, we have masks. You think he was wearing a mask during the entire time he's shooting? And he's in his restaurant. So we don't shoot this in Simca because we're sitting here with no masks on,
serving food, and
I can't be but just so people know, if I'm in Simca at midday doing paperwork by myself, I wear a mask. It's technically the law, and technically I'm required. There's nothing that says staff can be masked off when they're prepping. Do you want and again, without getting into whether or not you think as a scientist yourself, the point is you want the rules followed.
Yeah.
So if our boards of health tell us, if our state tells us, I got to be wearing a mask when I'm cooking, they don't mean when you're on the line only. Right. They mean during prep, during
inside a building,
right? Inside my restaurant. So we have our front house people. They're there an hour and a half before service, folding friggin' napkins. They're wearing masks.
Yeah, of course.
It was just a weird thing to put out a video in your own restaurant talking about your safety protocols while not wearing a mask. And it's just one of those things I'm just come on, man. Did no one think to say to that dude, yo, why don't you wear a mask for this video? Or let's shoot this out of the restaurant? Just goofballs.
Well, so the main problem, I think, with Charlie Baker shit is it's you make these rules, but you have no data to back it up, right? And again, it's follow the science, follow the science, follow the science. What do the scientists say, right? Scientists go by data, though. They make their decisions based on available data, right?
Sure.
So when you say restaurants can't be open past 9:30, well, show me where transmission at a restaurant is higher after 9:30 than it is at 7:30.
We talked about this last week. The 9:30 thing's like the first one that really, really pissed me off.
It's
so
made up,
I saw
it's a
like
made up thing.
I saw a chef in the Boston area who's got like an art space in Somerville. So his name's Louis DeBicari, and he's got a like a place called Create, where they he's had a couple restaurants in the Boston area. They're doing like small plate stuff. A lot of times he brings in pop-ups, and they've got like a gallery, and you like eat in the space. And he posted something like, where he gave data the other day, and he's like, look, we're a small place, and so like every cover counts. And this is the thing about the restaurant business is like, it's not just every cover, it's every round from every cover, right? What makes the restaurant business, especially when you carry a liquor license, which you pay a lot of money for, different is that for him, like if you and I go in there with our wives and we order 2 more rounds, that like we go in there for 1 round, we stay and we order 2 more rounds, he might as well, like it's like he just got another 4 top, right? Like we just boom, boom, boom. And he said like he had to go ask 18 guests to leave at 9:30 because it closed down. And so like those people might have bought 2 more rounds on a Saturday night, right? Like
and they're already there.
Right. And for him, like especially like as a restaurateur, like in the middle of a pandemic, who's like fighting hard to stay open and to make a living for yourself, for your family, whatever, you're like, this is such an arbitrary number. Like if it was something about safety, if it was having to tell, dude walks into the restaurant and they're like, yo, I'm gonna buy 10 shots of Louis XIII or whatever, blah, 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 but I'm not wearing a mask. I gotta ask you to leave. Okay, it sucks to give up that revenue, but at least there's like a reasoning behind it, right? But this whole like, you're safe to sit in my restaurant, 9:30 comes, you got to go, and I got to give that revenue up, it's nonsensical. And the worst part is that you can still sell takeout. So it's like there's literally no explanation.
Literally,
and then
no
have you seen the things that count as exceptions to the rule? If you're taking a walk, if you're out running errands. So I'm talking time out. What's the point of a curfew if running errands is an exception to the curfew? That's like saying like,
listen, me and you
no speeding unless you're going somewhere that you'd like to get to fast.
Yeah, right. No,
like the hell are you talking about?
Like me and you could do this right now, right? But you can't come over to watch the Patriots tonight because unless you want to leave by the 8-minute mark of the second quarter.
Or I could run an errand on my way home.
Yeah, if you run an errand, no, you're good.
Yeah, it's like.
But it's like stop telling me.
No, the craziest part is
science matters.
The craziest part is that me, you, and 15 of our closest friends could go out to a restaurant on Saturday night to celebrate someone's birthday. We can't all sit together, but we can all be in the same room. But 11 of us can't get together in a house, in a private house. So listen, I pride myself in being right in the middle. So like my thing is like, I'm not somebody that, like, I don't think people should have the right to not wear a mask in public. Like, you're affecting all of us, you got to wear a mask.
Well,
but people should have the right to do whatever they want in a private residence. Like, if you want to have 35 people over in your living room, Brody, don't lie to me and tell me you didn't. We're not going to do this show together, like, and sit here like this. But you have the right to do it. And that starts to get a little nutty. And everyone on all sides should be like, time out. I can't have 11 people in my personal home. Like, what if we're all quarantining together? Like, what if, like, we've had a bubble where, like, my parents aren't leaving, I'm not leaving,
right.
My in-laws aren't leaving their house, and my sister-in-law is around too. Okay, cool, boom. All of a sudden, with the kids and everything, it adds up to 14. We can't eat at my house? No. Like, what are people? So, like, I'm going to keep Thanksgiving low-key, but, like, is everybody? And then you know what the best part is? I own 2 restaurant spaces right here in my town. I guess I can have a bigger Thanksgiving if I do it in my restaurant. Again, just so people don't get it twisted about my personal views. That's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But like,
it's all made up.
Right.
Right? They just make it up. And they say, oh, COVID's spiking. We can't be seen.
I don't think they make up the COVID spiking. Right.
No.
All right, cool.
But, well, a lot of it is PCR tests, by the way. But, I mean, we're testing millions of people every day. And I told you it's seasonal. It's definitely seasonal.
Sure.
That's right. But you can't. I'm a governor. I can't be seen to not be doing anything. Meanwhile, then literally what they're doing is not doing anything. If anything, it's hurting, right? Lockdowns, I mean, it's basically been proven that they don't work. Europe had crazy hard lockdowns, and they're having it much worse than we are. And even like when you start counting death rate and hospitalizations and stuff right now, places that were semi-open are doing better. Like everybody's getting a spike right now because it's seasonal. But you can't just make it up and say, all right, after 9:30, that's when the virus is going to do its damage. I think it was either Charlie Baker or Gina in Rhode Island that said, well, after 9:30, people let their guard down and so you just want to police people's
I mean, that
personal,
is logical.
Yeah,
that is logical.
Yeah, but you just want to police people's personal behavior, right?
Yep.
Like that's not where we live. You know what I mean? Like you should not be telling me how to live my life.
No, I get that. By the way, what was I going to tell you? You know what I did today? I submitted the manuscript for the Simca cookbook.
Oh yeah, how'd the pictures come out? That's all I care about.
Was
that not pictures yet, or
no? Most of the photos are submitted. Not all of them are. So they've come out like they're good. The ones that are in are good. We got to shoot the cover. Actually, here I'll show you. I can't show the public yet, but I'll show you. They sent me a mock-up of the cover, so it doesn't have our photo yet, but it's pretty dope.
Why I'm in it? A picture of me and you?
Yeah, right.
You said our photo.
Our photo meaning
I know,
like
no shit. Oh wow, yeah, that is nice.
Yeah, I do a lot of like we, our, the team.
Wait, why are there olives on that?
Why not?
I'm joking.
Oh, what are there? Anyway, but that was a big pressure off my back. That's been sort of weighing on me. So I was excited about that. You
had an entire quarantine to get this done. So.
Yeah, the problem for me is that quarantine has my life upside down. Like, well, it's not about working. It's about like, dude, you don't have kids, so like, your house gets quieter during COVID. But like for me, like that just means like the kids are home. Like Adley's remote, so like home all day, every day. Oh, do you want to hear some shit? So this morning, I'm up early. Like it's like 5.
By the way, hold on. While we're still on that,
sure.
It is kind of funny seeing the Democratic operatives doing backflips when there's celebrations in the street, and it's like time to take it to the streets.
No, that part is crazy.
You know,
like that part is
Literally, there was some guy said, "Oh, time to take it to the streets," and then there's a picture of the Notre Dame fans storming the field. This is problematic in a pandemic. Okay, yep. You're not a journalist. Don't call yourself a journalist.
Agreed. That was bonkers.
Right,
that was bonkers.
It's kind of funny though.
That was bonkers. Yeah, but to me, like this is what I'm saying is like we need to get away from that being funny. We need to get to where like no, that's a problem. Like I saw it and I was like, how are we justifying? And then everyone's like, well, they're wearing masks. Dude, they're huddled like it's an orgy. Like, what are we talking about? And like, I'm sorry, but like, if someone then on the right says, how the hell is that okay? But businesses can't be open past 9:30. Like Louis DeGari has to go up to people who are spending money in his space, socially distanced at their own table and go, ding dong, 9:30.
Right.
And I need you to go home before you turn into a pumpkin. But people can storm the streets shoulder to shoulder like a piece of cloth is impacting anything at that moment. Like let's call a spade a spade. Like that's not okay. So anyway.
Yeah, I want to hear your story.
So I'm up early every morning and I was up at like 5:30. And it's just like, it's just the way I roll is like the first thing I do in the morning, every morning is like check bank accounts, check credit card statements. I mainly just I suffer from extreme anxiety and have since I was 8. So like for me, it's definitely like,
really?
Yeah, you know that about me.
I mean, but not like extreme. I don't know.
Like Oh yeah, dude.
Like you didn't get nervous about going to school and shit when you were a kid.
I missed all of 5th. I missed almost all of 5th grade.
Damn.
Yeah, like I used to actually.
This is where smoking weed doesn't help you.
So,
I mean, not smoking weed.
Do you not remember? Like the thing for me is it used to fuck me up. Remember? Like I
know,
I sit there and think that like my face was like fucked up.
Yeah,
so,
but I'm saying now with like actual like scientists, like
Yeah. No, I mean I hear you.
Like
Listen,
there's shit that can not get you high and calm that.
Oh, without a doubt. And no. And there's definitely I don't. So for me, I've always chosen. I don't know if we want to dig into my. I mean, I'm happy to.
You don't.
I talk about. No, I'm happy to. I talk about it all the time. So I want to get back to the story I was going to tell in a second. But yeah, as far as my anxiety goes, so the thing about anxiety is there's no. So when I wake up at 3:00 in the morning, I have like a little saying to myself when I'm like in a little bit of a panic. I always tell myself there's no such thing as stress at 3 in the morning. Because to me, I differentiate personally in my life between stress and anxiety is like one is something that's real and you can do something about, and the other is not real.
Right.
And so I always tell myself at 3 a.m, I can't be stressed. So I get a glass of water, I count, I have different tactics that work for me. But when I was 8 years old, I started breaking out in hives, and they never knew why. And then obviously that just made it worse and worse and worse. So when I was in 5th grade, I missed more than half of the school year, and I was in and out of the hospital, like convinced that something was like that. I would always think that I had this fixation on the fact that like my spleen would rupture. There was like this fear I had, and I had this incredible doctor at Hasbro in Rhode Island actually, and I had this incredible doctor, Dr. Harrell. He was an Israeli guy, and he used to. Like, he was so cool. Like, he would talk to me. He would teach me. He would explain to me everything. Because I understood, like, that my mind was just, like, racing, right? And then I wanted to understand. I wanted to know it. I wanted to learn the information. My grandmother, who passed away 5 or 6 years ago, she said to me, like, after 3 years of this, because my mom would miss a ton of work. Like, it was bad. And she just, like, my grandmother's old school. And she just looks at me and goes, Aviron, you need to get over this. You're ruining your mom's life. And, like, I do not advocate that for folks that are dealing with mental health issues. But I can say that for me, it made me sort of commit to an idea that, like, I remember thinking
You're going to plow through this.
Well, the next time I broke out in hives, I remember thinking, like, this is going to kill me or it's not. And I don't in any way suggest to children. So my son suffers from anxiety. We've gotten him help early. And I think I'm in a unique position still suffering from extreme anxiety. And it's funny that even like my closest friends like you wouldn't know that about me because I work so hard to control it. And so,
I mean, well, truthfully, it's not like you don't have a lot going on. Like,
no, that's true. Well, so, that's another point, right? So like my wife and I were having a conversation the other night because I was really stressed about this cookbook and about some other things.
About this podcast?
And no, but she was like, we were stressed. I was stressed, and she was telling me that I need to take on less. And I told her, I said, she was like, you just know that in the end it's gonna be bad for your anxiety. And I told her, I'm like, the thing about me is everything is bad for my anxiety. So if like a coping mechanism for me in my life is that I plow through it. And for me, if I turned things down, so I'm also super claustrophobic. And there was a time in my life, like early in my run here as a chef, where like I would deliver catering into the city, and there would be an elevator, and I would leave early. I would like leave extra time so that I could go up the stairs. And it got to a point in my life where I was doing enough catering, and I was going to buildings that were 100, that were 30 floors. I've developed like I basically hold my breath in an elevator, like it terrifies me, but I do it, and it does get. And this is one thing I teach my son is that every time I overcome something, I put it in my back pocket. So the next time that like that the anxiety is never going to go away. I'm always going to see it and be terrified, but I can put it in my back pocket and know like I can tell myself rationally like I know I get through this.
Right.
So anyway, so the point is like for me, a combination of being a responsible person and also my anxieties. First thing I do every morning is I check all my bank accounts and credit card accounts. And it's helped because like I've caught things before. Like I've called the credit
Negative
card.
38.
Huh?
Negative 38, I said.
Oh, yeah. So I've called the credit card.
Yeah, that's like your anxiety.
I've called the credit card companies before. Not if I knew it was coming. I've called the credit card companies before to tell them like, I caught what happened before they flagged it. A couple years ago, one of my company credit cards, somebody used the number in Seattle, Washington, to buy like a $5,800 part for a BMW at a dealership, and I was like, how the hell did that not flag?
No
like,
shit.
like I don't own that car. Yeah. I don't live in that
Seattle.
area. Like, right? And they bought it. They did it in the store. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So anyway, so this morning. Was it this morning? Or was it like super late last night? I checked, and like all of a sudden I just get like pinged that it just like jumps out that like Apple. All these purchases from Apple, and they're like $299, $199, $399, $117, $121, $14.99, $17.99, $2, $127. Fuck is going on here, right? So I click on them. See this code. I like jump into my email. I find like receipts that are like going to junk. I go into it. yo, my son's iPad is linked to my Apple ID, and he's playing video games, and he's making in-app purchases.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I look at it, I'm like, how the hell did I never notice this before? Well, I look, and it's because I had a balance on a PayPal account of mine that was linked to my Apple ID, apparently. And, like, I'd taken money in from somebody on a PayPal account for something, and I just left it there. So it wasn't hitting my credit card, so it wasn't alerting me, so I wasn't catching it. So I jump in that. How much money do you think?
Oh, God. Well, the thing with PayPal, too, they'll let you run up a balance, so it's not...
How much money do you think?
$350.
$350?
Yeah.
$2,100. Yeah. My 7-year-old son spent $2,100 on
That's
in-app
hilarious.
purchases.
Why didn't you tell me this before I saw him? I would
don't know, because I know that he suffers from anxiety. So this morning,
I would have like congratulated.
Even
him.
Saying something would fuck it up. So
right.
So this morning, thank God I didn't say something to you. So this morning, like, I come into his room, and I was like, "Hey, can we talk?"
He doesn't know though.
Huh?
He doesn't know.
He does know. So listen,
he knows he's buying stuff, but he doesn't know like how.
He does. So it was. So I come into his room.
How important? I mean,
so I come into his room.
$2,100 is important.
So I come into his room, and I was like,
"Are you sure it was all from him?"
Yeah. So I dug into it. But so that's why I wanted to talk to him, was because I was like, if he had made some purchasing and then somehow this got hacked into, and someone had my card number,
right,
and then
right.
they're purchasing, right? So I sit down with him, and I'm like, my son's 7, and this is like before, so he's learning remotely. So, and we were both gonna be home for the day. So I thought, like, okay, I walked and I closed the door behind me. He gets like super embarrassed by things, so I didn't want to embarrass him. And like, if he knew I was telling the story, it would fuck him up. But so I walked.
I don't think he's gonna listen to the podcast. Don't worry.
Oh my! You'd be surprised. Like, that's the thing is, like,
yeah,
it's tough because you don't have kids. It's tough because you don't have kids. But like, 7 isn't what you think it is. Like, my son listens to shit. Like,
No, I know what 7 is. Trust me.
So anyway, so I walked in and he goes, I was like, "Hey, can we talk?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right." I was like, "I'm not trying to embarrass you. Like, please, can we have a conversation?" I'm like, "Have you been making purchases in like in-app purchases?" And he was like, no. I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, look, can I just show you this thing? Because there were some purchases made, and I need to know if it was you or if it was something else. He just like throws his blanket over his head. He's like, let's not talk about it. He's like, I'll stop. I'll just stop. And I said, what? You'll stop? Like, but you'll stop what? Because I thought, like, is he saying he's going to stop playing the game? That's not what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. He's like, I'll stop making purchases. And I was like, okay, hold on. So were you making purchases yet? But you know you're not supposed to. I know. All right. Adley, do you know how much money this was? And now he's in tears. Like, he's bawling.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, do you know? And I'm like, at the time I thought I caught 1,000 so far. So I was like, because this is before I caught. This was just last night. Like, so it only flagged because he went so crazy. So, and it's not, by the way, so there's a reason I'm telling the story on here, is because, like, fuck these companies, right? So, like, if you look, so no grown adult plays these games that my son's playing.
Yeah, obviously.
So if you look at what they're charging,
what game is that, by the way?
This one was called like In the Water 2, like stupid shit. Yeah. But like if you look at these games, right?
Yeah.
The thing that makes me the most angry is that the same quality of in-app purchase can be $199 and $117. So that's just fucking. They're trying to take advantage of kids. Like, right. So in other words,
yeah, I was gonna say $117. That's like.
But dude, when I say so,
that was an in-app purchase.
So no bullshit. $1.99 was a purchase for like this like coin thing.
Yeah.
And then $117 was access to all the trucks in the game.
Oh yeah.
Like they're just trying to catch a kid clicking a button whose dad's permission isn't on. And what happened was I had given Adley a tablet. His tablet had broken, so I gave him a tablet that was older. That was from the company and we replaced. And so it was just linked to my Apple ID.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great because I was like, cool, it's linked to my Apple ID. I can see all the shit he's on.
Yeah.
So like when he takes photos, they pop up my phone. So like I'm aware of all the stuff he's doing. I didn't know that I hadn't set the permissions. It didn't occur to me that he had access because his other stuff, like he can't make purchases without a password.
Right.
So, and my point is like, fuck these companies that catch you sleeping and like, if it was all $5 purchases and I rang up a bill for $1,000, I'd be beside myself in a tough position in a pandemic, really hurting.
Yeah.
But I'd eat it. I'd be like, fuck me as a parent for not controlling it. When I looked at it and I'm like, fuck your predatory ass for like
for having a $2
purchase and dude, one was $189. And I looked at him like,
It's like, would you buy the entire Michael Jackson
there's
catalog?
this other game that they're getting him for $9.99 a week for this game.
Oh, I'm sure.
And like, he must have, he probably downloaded it. I said to him at one point, I'm like, after we got through it, a lot of crying, but I told him like, bro, I'm not yelling at you. I'm not telling you can't play. He was just so embarrassed. But I was like, and I try to teach him about money. So I was explaining to him like how many months of car payments this was equating to. And I said to him at one point, I'm like, he's like, I'll give you the money. And I said, because he's like, he has like his piggy bank. I'm like, Adley, everything in this room isn't combined worth what these purchases were. And I said to him, like, I'm not blaming you. You need to know that what these games are built to do is get you to click on something because you don't know better than to spend, like, to you, what's $189? So it occurred to me because it was going through the PayPal. He started doing this about 3 months ago, it looked like. And the first time he did it,
money came out of your PayPal balance.
No one said anything to him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
next time he did it, no one said anything to him.
Right.
If you're 7, you start to think like, maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like either maybe this isn't real. Because I said, did you know this costs money? He said, I knew it cost money. He said, I didn't know whose money it cost.
Yeah, of course.
So like that's the thing is like,
I mean, he's 7.
Right, he's 7. He's 7. It didn't occur to him that it was coming from me, and so like he just lost a tooth today. He told me today, he's like, Dad, whatever
$2,100 tooth
He said, whatever the tooth fairy gives me, he's like, I'm going to give to you. I said, listen, I'm going after the predators.
How much is a tooth fairy paying right now? What's the going rate?
I don't know. I know my tooth fairy gives $1. So
$1, yeah, right.
To me, it's like, I know people.
Know the cost of $1.
These are the things.
Oh, I know, Pete, yes.
You have a lot of friends with kids?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, you know what the friends I have.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of friends, so.
So that's the thing I was trying to figure out. So everyone's different, like so different. When you're out here and like you're making friends like because they're friends with your kids and shit like that, you start to learn, like you start to meet people that are different.
Last
and, like,
I heard was like 10. I think I was 10. A kid lost a tooth a couple weeks ago. It was like $10. I'm like, $10.
So I just feel like
$10.
So I just feel like I don't know if I know that friend or not, but like to me, I look at it like this. There are people who are grounded, and then there are people that aren't. So it's like, if somebody told me they gave their kid $10, you know me well enough to know if I met them the day before, we're like this. I'm telling them, fuck is wrong with you? Your kid doesn't know what money is.
Right.
$1 is all the same. They give them $10 to tell their friend in the next discussion about how much it's worth. Like, it's $10 in my house. Are you stupid? Like, your kid doesn't know what money is. Give them a quarter.
I've tried to bribe your kids.
Give them a quarter. Tell them it's better than $1.
I've tried to bribe your kids to, like, eat something for, like, whatever, and they won't do it because...
Because they have integrity? Because they don't do shit for money?
Oh, yeah. Try this honey mustard, and I'll give you $10 if you try this honey mustard. And they say no. Kid, I'm trying to teach you about life. You take that $10 and try the honey mustard.
No, hell no. I don't want you teaching my kids to take money for stuff.
Yeah, right. You made your kid eat anything when he was, like, 4 months old.
Oh, I expect him to eat anything.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not paying him for it. Like,
yeah, but why do you care if I pay him?
Look, because I don't want you dictating to my children what they eat.
I don't. He has a
and
choice.
I don't want them learning.
He has a choice. Get $10 or have his honey
my
mustard.
son's not whoring himself out for your honey mustard bullshit.
Well, he's $2,100
you know what's funny?
in debt.
When Adley was 2.5, I have a picture of him eating a chicken's head, like the head of a chicken. And now, like, he won't eat chicken. Like he says, I don't eat pork. Like, are you religious? What happened?
Yeah, you made him eat anything when he was a kid.
I expected him to. I still do.
You hungry?
I still expect him to.
All right, go to bed hungry then.
Yeah, exactly. I'm old school. I'm not a tough guy with my kids, but I do believe in like teaching them some certain things and like. No, I just don't want to raise spoiled kids. And there are a lot of times that I do think my kids are spoiled.
Yeah.
And then I mean,
but the problem is this.
Like when we took them to Disney for the second time, and like my 4-year-old now had been to Disney twice, and is sitting there telling me like how she needs blah blah blah.
That's for you.
You kind of fucked that shit.
That's for you.
You kind of fucked that shit up too.
Yeah, by giving them gift cards, I know.
Yeah, fuck the whole thing up.
But
oh, dude, people are looking in the window at us.
But the truth is, going to Disney with your kids, especially at this age, when Adina was little, more so, it's for you. You get those memories. You know how happy they were?
Honestly, for me,
how happy
yeah,
were
but
they?
right. Well, that's the memory. The memory is how happy they are.
Yeah.
So
it's not. What does it really matter? I mean, it's not like they're gonna grow up to be like, shitty adults because you took them to Disney when they're 7.
I hope not, man. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, bro. They might grow up to feel the way you do about politics.
How do I feel about politics? Listen, when you said that you like the one Democrat, I guess, that says Oh, I support this.
I'm not a
president
Democrat.
and everything.
I'm not a Democrat.
All right, one liberal.
Registered in. Would you consider me liberal?
I voted in the. I voted in the Democratic primary.
I believe that.
Um,
Yeah, because
you
you're in Massachusetts, you don't want to be part of the Republican primary.
No, listen.
Did you vote in the Democrat primary the last time?
I might have. I was very anti-Hillary, so probably. Listen, by the way, here's what I think. Not to go back to this, but I think the Democrats did fuck up. They should have ran Biden 4 years ago when he was not senile.
They wanted him to run 4 years ago. He chose not to. His son had just died. Like it was a tough situation.
Yeah. But they ran Hillary.
Yeah.
But like that was his time. Like after the Obama presidency when he's the vice president. Like,
no, I know. By the way, do you know how few vice presidents have ascended to being president? It's like 6 or 7. I looked it up the other day, and of them,
never after the fact.
Like 4. No, like Nixon. So Nixon lost.
Yeah, right.
To Kennedy, and then won. So Nixon.
Yeah,
so I think Biden's the second.
Nixon wasn't vice president.
What's up?
Nixon wasn't vice president though.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, for Eisenhower.
Yeah. Was it for Eisenhower? I think it was for Eisenhower. So I know that Nixon was the first vice president to win and elect to become president, not immediately after. Like so just like Biden, he had a gap. Was Eisenhower the president right before Kennedy? He was, right? Yeah. It's so funny. Like that's the time period for me. And ironically, when TV switches to color, Kennedy's the first one in color.
TV.
Right, to TV.
TV
yeah, to TV. But like no, to color.
No, to TV. That was the first presidential debate on TV. Nixon, Kennedy.
Definitely?
Yes.
I think it was the first one in color.
No.
Because when did TV start, Corey?
TV started at 48.
Is that right?
Yeah. But yeah, people on the radio thought Nixon won. People on TV thought Kennedy won.
Yeah.
That's I mean, it was 1960. So, I mean, they had color. Listen, we had HD and like when TV started, HD was actually a thing, but we just didn't have the ability to like push it to every house. But you could have broadcast in HD back then. But I mean, Kennedy was so dynamic, right, and political royalty, and come from a powerful family.
Yo, you want to hear something hilarious? So the first presidential debate. So ironically, Adley. People will say like, oh, like Adley Stevenson, and I'm like, who the hell is Adley Stevenson? Adley Stevenson was the Democrat that ran against Eisenhower.
All right.
So
no chance.
Correct.
No shot.
But so the first televised presidential debate was in 1956, but it wasn't. But it was with surrogates. No, it was with surrogates. Uh-oh. So instead of Adley Stevenson and Dwight Eisenhower, Eleanor Roosevelt and Margaret Chase Smith debated instead. So actually, the first ever presidential debate.
I'm not watching these women debates.
Was women, right?
No
That's
way.
interesting. Isn't that cool? But anyway, so my point is just, isn't it? It's just like it's an interesting part of American history that we go. Like I think of Eisenhower as so much as pre-modern era in a weird way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of funny.
Well, the thing about Eisenhower is he was ahead of his time, right? And everything that he like literally said came true. He worried about in 1955. He gave a speech about the military-industrial complex. Like we should never not be prepared for war again, right? If a Hitler comes to power, we need to be prepared to defend ourselves and defend the world.
What if they're on our side?
Yeah, no, it's true. But we can't just do it at the expense of giving the military-industrial complex an unlimited budget.
Yep.
That's what we did. Literally, like we've done that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not coming back. Like this, and this is again where I hate. All right, here's where you want me
starting to bore the hell out of me.
Okay, you want me to hate Trump though? The number one thing Trump did wrong. Number one, you know who Edward Gallagher is?
No.
Okay, Edward Gallagher literally killed Iraqi citizens. Like just straight up killed people.
It's fucked up. Sounds bad.
And he pardoned them.
Okay.
Like he should have gotten impeached for that. I think, in my opinion, like that was an actual scandal. I think. You know
okay.
What I mean? Like,
when you say shit like this, I'm like, all right, let me learn. That's cool.
But
that's interesting.
That's an actual like that. That's fucked up. He had like 8 Marines testified against him in court. You know what I mean? Like he was a fucking murderer. You know what I mean? and he got pardoned. It's like, all right,
But you got to ask yourself, like, why did Trump pardon him?
because military. I rebuilt the military. Blah 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 blah. He's a narcissist.
But if eight Marines testified against this guy, then this guy wasn't popular with the military.
No, exactly. It's
You know who he was popular with? That guy.
Yeah, Trump supporters.
And that says a lot. That's the beef that I have.
Listen. There's a million. That's number one on the Trump list. Trump spending money. That's number two on. There's a million things I hate Trump for. Trump is not a conservative.
Trump did spend a lot
just
of
like
money.
Bush was not a conservative. Like I didn't vote for George. Our first presidential election I ever could vote on. I voted for John Kerry.
Did you?
Yes.
We met John Kerry together.
We did. That's
Yeah.
right. And also,
And then, like 4 years later, he stabbed me in the back with his anti-Israel
Not only that,
stances.
the night of the election, I even went to Copley Square where he was gonna have whatever. Okay, so before you call me a bleeding heart, just know that I'm all for conservative principles. Just we don't have any conservatives.
By the way, what do you mean your first ever elect? We voted in the Gore W election.
I was born in '83. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was born in '84.
Yeah, you didn't vote in that. You were 16 years old.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Shit.
So far, so what am I? I think I'm like 1 for 4. Trump was the first ever I voted for that won, I think.
Yeah, so 2000. Yeah, I forgot. It goes 2000, then 2004.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I don't know. Biden's gonna win, and I'm
Yeah, that's
all
right.
for
I
it.
told
Listen,
John Kerry. That's right. When I met him, I told him he was the first
and
guy.
all I
voted
do,
for.
all anybody conservative, all I tell them, listen. You think I'm scared of the Biden presidency? Like, no. I do hope that Republicans win one of those runoff seats in Georgia, because I do not want him to control the House, Senate. We'll be passing like no gas at the gas station. Starting 2024. That you think that's not what they want? Like that's literally what.
Who's
the
they?
progressive.
Yes,
in that party.
Biden's not super
I
progressive.
don't think he is. That's my point. I don't think or Kamala. I mean, Kamala threw people in jail and laughed about it. You know what I mean? Like it's. I think they're status quo, right? Status quo.
Can I ask a question? Do you watch SNL at all? I know you don't, but like, I don't understand why they created this Kamala character. Like when she first was out of the
Every
running.
time I watch it, it's not funny.
It's not funny. So, it's weird. So I just watched the episode from this past Saturday. I just watched it last night.
Was Chappelle funny?
So it's weird. So I wasn't looking at Chappelle to be funny. He was actually kind of funny, but his speech in 2016 was so incredible. Have you seen that?
Chappelle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm curious to see how this goes, and you'd be happy with Chappelle's speech. Like he spoke to moderates. He spoke to moderates because he was like, "What do you guys think shit's gonna be different? Like you don't understand what we're mad about."
The whole thing.
Like his point is like, "What do you think? Like because you got a different old white guy, things are different. Like you guys think that. I don't think that." And he was funny. He was kind of funny. He was in like one skit. And it was kind of a funny skit. It wasn't that great. When they stay away from political topics, they're hilarious. Like the best skit was they did like one that was like about Mario Brothers 35th anniversary, and like it was just like everybody talking about like where they were when Mario, like when they first played Mario, and then like two like young guys are like talking, and they're like, yeah, I remember we came home and like we were so excited and we like beat it, and he's like, yeah, but remember like first like he talks about like a bicycle accident where the dude like lost his nuts, and like and then he keeps saying, he's like, you remember like then you had to go to the hospital, remember they had to take your nuts, swim, like, and the kid's like, no, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, remember then you said like it's smooth down there, and like, and then they keep coming back to Keenan, and Keenan's like, he's like, can I please not go after these guys? Like I don't want to talk about Mario after that disturbing story, and like the whole skit is hilarious when they stay away from just like making the joke being the current political situation.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. They think too much of their humor. So what I was asking about Kamala was when she was first like eliminated, or when she first got out of the primary race, SNL like revived, like brought her in as like a character, like their character, Maya Rudolph, and the character was just like that. She shows up like towards the end of all the debates with like a big glass of wine in her hand, being like, "Mama's got a glass of wine," but I didn't understand the character because like Kamala's not a drunk, like she's not like a party girl, like. She was an ADA and a DA for a long time. She was a like attorney general. Like I was like,
she's messing with Willie Brown.
Right. Like I didn't understand the character, and it's just that like that's the thing I just want to ask sometimes, like to these SNL writers, like, what is the character? Like, and then now you're like turning her into like now you got to bring her back a little bit more serious because she won, because now like you're behind her as an empowerment. But you turned her into a drunk, like for no reason. Like, why was the joke that Kamala Harris was a drunk and that she was just all like, "Mama's gonna drink a glass of wine"? Like, why? I didn't get the humor.
I'm kind of interested to see how this all goes. Right now that every late night host, they got to come up with new jokes. Right? Trump's not on the radar. Let's say,
dude, Baldwin is so pissed probably.
What if
he's like, well, can I still be on? Can we still talk about me all the time?
Let's say Trump just holds rallies just because, right?
Which he might.
He might, right? But here's where you can't get mad at him, Avi. If you're fucking whoever, CNN or Fox News or whoever, why do you have to cover that? You don't have to cover that, right? I think these companies are in for a little bit of a rude awakening when they realize that Trump was good for their business. Like, nobody's watching MSNBC to hear about I don't know, the thing that Joe Biden does correctly. Hate is good for ratings, right? And everybody hate watched because they hate Trump. It's not changing. Here's the other thing about the election. Last thing I want to say about the election.
Okay.
You heard about the only demographic group that voted less for Trump this time than 4 years ago?
No.
White males. Every other group voted for him in larger numbers. Black males, black women, Latino men, Latino women.
Yeah.
And so when, MSNBC
I did see that white women vote for Trump, like, whoa.
White women? I mean, everybody but white males. They're the only group that didn't vote for
So I can't explain black males. I can explain Latino males because there's a bump in some areas of the country.
Miami.
It will skew that way because
they fled socialism.
Socialism.
But then like the media, like,
do you know what the Democrats need to learn? And then we should probably just wrap up before we just become a political show. But by the way, I'm looking forward to talking more sports going forward and food and stuff like that now that the election will be done. But
what about COVID?
And COVID, yeah, right. But I'm looking forward to not talking about COVID someday.
You want to talk about Alex Cora? I'm sure. Yeah. Hey.
Actually, I do have opinions on that. But so on but just to the point of what the Democrats need to learn how to do is they need to learn how to raise the floor without trying to lower the ceiling. In a global economy, it means taking more from outside of our country and not trying to just redistribute here. And then the other thing that they really, really badly need to learn how to do is they need to accept that the thing that everyone, especially immigrants like my father, love about this country is the promise of opportunity. And so if you look at someone who's poor and you say what that person wants is stability today in exchange for opportunity, you're wrong. Right. That person's willing to be willing to starve with the idea that someday they'll have a lot.
Like a good.
If you offer them, hey, do you want mediocrity? Hey, do you want like a really, really like low level happiness? They would say, no, I'll keep shooting for the stars. That's the American way in a weird way.
There's a good percentage of Democratic voters, maybe not here, but throughout the country, definitely in Oregon and shit, who think capitalism equals bad, right?
Is anybody out there watching want a beer, by the way? I've got beers.
Capitalism is bad.
I'm celebrating. I put my manuscript in today.
Liberal Avi.
Liberal Avi.
Does he think that?
Does Liberal Avi think what? I'm sorry, I was worrying about inviting people for beers.
Capitalism is bad.
No, yeah. Avi Shemtov, that owns 5 businesses, thinks capitalism. But
there's a very good percentage of Democratic voters who think that's true, though. That's the greatest divide right now.
I'm going to be honest with
you. In Oregon?
I'm going to be honest with you.
Portland, Oregon.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear. I oscillate because I think providing opportunity in exchange for hard work has its appeals. I will say that I do struggle at times with the idea that, like, ambition sometimes, curiosity killed the cat and ambition might kill me. And the reality is that capitalism, pure capitalism, if it could work, I'm probably.
If it could work.
Like,
I mean, it's worked for centuries.
It depends on your definition of worked, man. Like,
what do you mean? I mean, we started from the bottom, now we're here.
Who started from the bottom and now where are we?
America. We weren't even a country.
Right. But capitalism. So it's weird, right?
Listen,
like
I always
we're
think
one of the greatest countries in the world, maybe hopefully the
you'd rather
greatest.
live here or China,
and we have
right? You can do
extreme
what you
poverty.
want
Like we
here.
have children starving in this country.
Listen, there's 8 million problems.
Yeah,
but
but
that's why
children starving is a big
it's
one, though.
the number one problem. It shouldn't happen. I mean, we should.
And capitalism creates that without social programming.
No. Yes,
Because if
you're
you're born in, if you're
So
born to
fucking give
somebody,
them fucking
if you're
something.
born to somebody that doesn't have or doesn't do,
then you blame the government for that. The government should be helping those people.
sure, but that's not a capitalistic premise.
Okay,
it's not.
Okay, either way, I mean,
No, but it's not. So you're sitting here arguing in favor of capitalism and then quickly saying that the government
you think
should.
what people don't starve under communist regimes?
Oh, I didn't. So communism and capitalism are not the only two options.
Okay. What? Democratic socialism? I mean,
I kind of like democratic social. What I like is I would love democratic regulated capitalism. That's what I would like. I think capitalism should exist, but let's ensure the floor. Agreed. But if we would all fight in that direction, you and I had a heated argument on this podcast less than almost a year ago, where you said everyone believes blank, blank, blank. No, not everyone believes that every child in America should eat. If we could get there,
yes,
I'll be conservative. I'll be conservative. Because I'll tell you what, if we just said, hey, man, you deserve a better house and a better car than me because you work harder and you're smarter than me, but hey, all these kids can have something to eat and everybody going to school gets breakfast, dope, I'm with you. I'm behind you then.
Yeah, well, okay, when I say
but that has to exist.
When I say everybody, I mean not the 10% on each side, okay? The 80% in the middle.
Cool, but we need to be able to create a platform by which all those 80% feel empowered to be the majority instead of sit here and think like, because there are just things that we should all believe are true.
But then when it's stuff like that, right? This kid's starving, right? But then we're gonna hear bills, being thrown about now, like pay for people's college, right? Or get rid of college debt, right? Yeah. No. We have kids starving. We have kids that don't graduate high school. Those need to be solved way before we talk about people's college debt being erased. They're just problems that are just made up to appease people.
So I do agree with you wholeheartedly that we should fix child hunger before we fix college debt. I agree with that.
What about every kid
But the problem is that some of it, no, I agree there too. But the problem is that some of that goes hand in hand. Like the issue is that if somebody stays in poverty because of their student debt, they may be the folks that then have children who can't get breakfast. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you can't.
So the question is, where along the process you fix it?
I mean, how many starving children compared to come from college-educated households rather than the other way around?
I will say I do think that's a huge overlooked problem. Is that we are a nation that has poverty with very qualified people. Like qualified is a really fucked up way to say that because everyone's qualified to not be impoverished. We have folks with credentials that aren't earning, and that's a problem. And by the way, no one talks about it, but social workers get paid dirt, and that's stupid. That's a bad system. Like, why do social workers get paid dirt? They need master's degrees in a lot of cases, and make $35,000 a year. That's a backwards. So when we're talking about line cooks, we talk about line cooks and how we want to raise the minimum wage. Cool, I'm with it. Personally, I don't want to see the minimum wage raised because as an employer who works really, really hard to keep all of his people earning above minimum wage, even when they start, high school kids even, I want to see my people's money go a long way. So I don't want to see you touching their $20, $25, whatever it is, by coming up behind them with 15.
But line cooking here in Sharon, Mass is not the same as
in Oklahoma, right? Agreed. But even more importantly, I'm just saying, if we looked at it, social workers make less money than line cooks, and how the hell does that make sense? But the reason is because they're not part of capitalism.
Right.
The answer is no one is actively charging money for those services because their clientele isn't in a position. By definition, when a social worker is involved, there's no luxury there.
Well, there's private companies too, but
at that point, you're not really doing quote unquote direct service. When you go private like that, there's private nonprofits.
Yeah.
But even then, they're nonprofits. And that's the world my mom has been in forever.
Yeah.
The point is the end user is not somebody you won't find me. There's therapists who are qualified to be social workers that make money on the private side.
Yeah, yeah.
There's all kinds of social workers involved in stuff, but like no one is actively calling a social worker and spending money with them. And because of that, because they're outside of the capitalist system, right? Like no one even seems to care that social workers make absolute dirt.
Right.
So I do think
And
these are
like
these
when
are things
when
we
you
could
talk about doing
could
God's
adjust.
work,
Yep, God's work.
social worker is like
It's crazy, dude.
number one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased because my mom is a
I
social
mean, I
worker,
know
but
some social workers.
yeah,
and they,
but it is really God's work, and like it's fascinating that. So anyway, we should probably get wrapping up.
All right. So Patriots win tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
They cover 10
I think Pats have a coming out party tonight.
over 41 points. Joe against that defense. Oof.
Wait, is it? No. So the defense is going to have a good night tonight.
You think so?
Yeah, the Jets are going to be like 20. They're going to be like 22 or less points. The Pats.
22 is a lot.
Yeah, but the Pats are going to put up like 35, 40 points tonight. They're going to have a coming out party. You're going to have what's his name there? The kid, the wide receiver that should have been in all last year too.
Gunner?
No.
Nikhil Harry? I don't know if he's already.
No, the kid I said was better than Nikhil Harry last week.
Oh, Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers is going to have a great game, 2 touchdowns, whatever. Cam's going to throw for a few. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to be juxtaposed against what Brady did last night, and we're going to get a whole week that's the exact opposite of last week, right? We're going to get like a whole Cam's on top of the world. Should they sign him?
It's hilarious.
just going to go like this all year.
Jimmy G's hurt again, so it's like, oh, that's going to be
You
the
know
whole
Jimmy
thing.
G's a free agent next?
Yeah, he's got no guaranteed money left. He's not technically a free agent.
Right, they're going to cut him though.
I mean, you think so?
Dude, imagine
have
if
a
we
backup
ended up with Jimmy G.
That would be some pimp
It'd be
shit.
whatever then. It'd be whatever then.
I know, but I know a lot of people that are like, "Fuck Jimmy G. He's already he's injury prone." Blah blah. Which I mean, he gets hurt a lot.
NFL quarterbacks are injury prone. We had one that played for 2 decades without being hurt. But like, let's be clear, NFL quarterbacks are injury prone.
That's like, especially like you want someone who can run a little bit, but then you see like Dak, like his ankle literally fall off. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
And
don't know
you're
anything about it.
Yeah, it's like, fuck.
Cowboys got to give him his money, right?
Pocket.
Like,
Yo,
they're
by
going
the
to
way,
give his money,
I
right?
can't believe they didn't take Brady out last night. They just let him get fucking teed off every. It's like, dude, take him the fuck out of the game.
Did you see that possession where he got sacked 3 plays in a row? One got brought back for penalty.
Yeah, penalty,
But
yeah.
like, by the same guy.
Yeah, Hendrickson.
The same
or
guy.
whatever,
Yeah. Who looked like Chase Winovich.
Yeah.
By the
He
way.
was soft against the run, by the way.
Huh?
He's not.
Who is it?
Chase, he played like 6 snaps last week, I think.
Yeah.
Soft against the run. Cut your hair. That's the conservative in me. Cut your hair.
I just say cut their hair because, like, I don't understand NFL players wanting more
No,
places
it's
to be
about
grabbed.
branding, but
Yeah, I
it's
get
like
it.
brand,
It's cool.
like you know what I mean.
It's cool. Do you, Chase? Do you, Chase Winovich?
I saw Dietrich Wise. He's wearing his hat on his Zoom call the other day with the Patriots meeting. It says "Wise Up." I'm like, yeah, he's got his brand go. Edelman, JE11. You know what I mean? Like
the JE11 brand is corny because it's literally a playoff of TB12.
I'm pretty sure Brady's suing it for copyright infringement.
Is that true? No. Oh. So the best part is that he's JE11, and like that was only kind of cool when he was next to TB12, and now he's just like G11. G11. Is that French? G11.
Cam was wearing a Edelman hat or something the other day, I think. I'm like, look at
Cam
this guy.
just seems like a cool dude, man. He does. Like Cam seems like a good teammate.
No, he doesn't say like Alabama too. I always like that too. Like,
what do you mean?
Like that other football team, because he went to Florida and Auburn.
Yeah.
He fucking hates.
Yeah, he was at
Alabama.
Florida for like a cup of coffee.
Yeah. But I mean, he.
By the way, he was there when Tebow was there, right?
Is that right?
Yeah, I think
Probably.
Cam won.
Like a semester?
I think Cam technically won a
the
national
job?
championship. No, I think he technically won a national championship there. I think he was technically part of the team that won a national championship. Like I think he was there when Hernandez was there and everything.
Oh, like Chris Leak here?
No. Let's look that up. I mean,
No, it'd be Tebow's second championship then. Yeah, that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense that he'd be on the team when they won the championship. Though.
no, he wasn't still on the roster when they won the championship.
He started the year with the team.
But like he was
then
on that
transferred
team
in the
technically,
semester. Yeah,
I think.
that makes sense.
Cam Newton, Florida.
I mean, listen. I hope he's going to pass tonight. They should be able to run the ball. Damian Harris should be a beast. Okay.
Yep.
But again,
have you seen what his kids' names are?
Cares. Nobody cares about tonight.
Have you seen what his kids' names were? Yeah. Look, there's him and Tebow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might not be the year they won it, but yeah. 2015. But they did. I mean, everybody's already written off the
In
Pats.
2015, they were both in the NFL. That's when the picture was from, bro. I mean, that's when the article was from.
Everybody's already written off the Pats, though. So I do kind of like it. The problem is, fucking now Miami's good with Tua and shit.
Yep.
It's like, you saw the AFC standings. Fucking Buffalo, Miami, and then it's like, Patriots are like distant third. It's not even like really
agreed.
close right now. But a lot of season left. 7 teams make the playoffs. I'm not writing them off. It's all about next week against Baltimore. I mean, if they lose tonight, whatever, obviously it's over. But I'm more interested, too, to see, do you remember how bad the Ravens mollywopped the Patriots last year?
I do.
You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, can we stop like Lamar Jackson? I just want to see how that plays out. Because, again, I have faith that Cam will get to 24 points. Every week, I have faith that Cam will get to 24 points every single week. Okay? So if you get to 24, now it's up to your D. That's the way I look at it. And he'll get to 24.
Tonight?
Tonight,
yeah.
In general, I think he'll get to 24 every week.
Let's hope so. All right, cool. Are we done?
We are done. Heat in the kitchen.
All right, it was Heat in the Kitchen. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. No, it's episode like 17 or some shit.